All right. Okay. Hello, 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 everyone. My name is Rainey Ray, and I'm joined today, thankfully, by Teresa, who's with us many Mondays and a wealth of information. So, thank you, Teresa.
You're
Um,
welcome.
Before we hop in, I just want to tell you that, we're hitting the road on Saturday for our 7 weeks in South Dakota. Nothing with me changes except the days when we're actually traveling, I can't go live or anything like that. I can answer calls or texts or anything. But so Monday we won't have our live. So let me tell you what's going on for July. Okay. It's our big 250th anniversary and everybody's excited. So what doTERRA's doing is they did another big oil. We just had frankincense for free. And now we have another big oil for free, which is deep blue. All right. This only comes in a 5 ml. Well, you can get it in a bigger bottle if you are doing the aroma touch. 5 ml bottle. They're giving us the whole 5 ml bottle, which is like a $40 bottle of wine. I keep saying wine of oil. And that's funny. I haven't drank in over a decade, but so they're giving us this and as our free product of the month. And for those who are on rewards, this is how you get it by 125 PV order, a rewards order, or by ordering our wellness bundle, one of the VMG like with E Omega or whatever. And if you're on rewards, when you hit VIP status, you get this wonderful bag. And at first, I thought it was chintzy, but it's fabulous. It holds, it's waterproof pretty much. It holds supplements, oils, everything. And they're giving us a red and white check gingham one for red, white, and blue with the deep blue oil, which is great. Okay. We're getting ready to hit the road. As I said, I use these. These are really good. Okay. So that's what's the freebie for the month. So $38 is what that normally costs us wholesale. And that's pretty cool. Still, there are, and I'll post the inventory updates like we always do, but there's some left of the Mother's Day trio and the Sun Travel Essentials kit, which I take the sun care with when we travel. Love it. The Endless Summer Hair and Body Mist, the Endless Summer Blend, the Shinrin Yoku Bar and Beard Oil. Those are still left. Okay, so let's talk about pain. All right. Right? Okay, we all have it from time to time. Hopefully less rather than more. All right. But I want us to go back in time and think about the game of Clue. All right, everybody played that board game where it was a murder took place. And then there are the players, whether they're Colonel Mustard, Mrs. Peacock. I had to look these up, all right. Miss Scarlet, Mrs. White, Mr. Green, and Professor Plum, all right. But before you can solve the murder, you have to look at the other players that are around, and you have to think, what was their role in this, okay? And Lynn's joining us, which is great. Lynn, I'm just talking about the game of Clue that you and I heard about with Laura on the Zoom earlier. So we're talking about pain today. And before we get into a discussion of pain, I want to talk about the approach. My dogs are now going to wrestle in the bedroom, I mean, in the office, and we're going to pretend that we're playing a game of Clue. Okay. So we want to, let me get them out of here. All right, guys. Out. Go on. Out, out, out. Out, out, out. Go on. So before we can figure out how to address the pain, we have to look at what's causing it. What is the root of this? What is it muscular? Is it skeletal? Is it that you're tense? Is it from stress and anxiety? Is it a wound? Did you just have surgery? What's causing the pain? Okay. So, Lynn, what were your takeaways from today's session with our upline Laura Jacobs on how to look at um, getting to the root of things, like the game of Clue?
Very enlightening to hear her thought process. Very helpful. I think we can't just jump in with a bunch of different things unless we understand what is the root cause, where is it coming from. Once we establish that, i.e., much different if I fell down and broke my ankle to I'm working 85 hours a week and I have a lot of pain in my neck. What is the cause? Where is it coming from? Because once we have that answered, then we know how to go to the oils and understand it better.
Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. So, for example, we might say, I've got muscle and joint pain. My go-to would be Deep Blue that we just talked about being the free product of the month for July. Okay. And I love to layer on Deep Blue with copaiba and stuff, but what's the cause of my pain? Um, is it, that like Lynn was saying, that I fell down and broke something? Is it that I cut myself? Is it that I'm strained from gardening? Is it that, I've been out walking in the forest training and I'm high stepping? Um, so we have to figure out a particular, the oils that can address that particular stuff. So the way I love to approach it, and we dealt with this earlier on the Zoom, but we do this all the time, is get a reference book. I love this one. Okay. There are other reputable reference books out there. Pick your one that you like. Okay. So, for example, if we're talking about pain, then what you may want to do is, or anything. Okay. Teresa's going to talk about plantar fasciitis. Okay. So if I go in the book, in the quick reference section in the front, there's a description of what it is, an inflammation of the thick band of tissue that connects the heel bone to the toes. And then they recommend 5 oils, no matter what you're looking up. This happens to be recommending copaiba, lemongrass, aroma touch, wintergreen or birch, and Siberian fir. Okay. But then there's reference to other bodies, the body systems sections in the book. And in this case, it refers us to skeletal and muscular. Another thing you can do is jump in on ChatGTP or whatever it is that you like, Googling it, whatever, and find out, ask what causes plantar fasciitis. Um, and I'm not going to steal Teresa's thunder, but what we wanted, what we did was we Googled it. We looked in the Essential Life book. And Teresa, you take it over. Give us a little history of your issue, if you don't mind. And I really appreciate you being so brave and open to talk about something going on with your body. Okay. Um, but what's going on and how are you choosing to address it?
All right. Well, I started having heel pain, and it was after I had increased the amount of exercise that I was doing. I'm not, extremely overweight. So, anyways, once I started having the heel pain, then talked to you, we were looking it up. Everything's pointing towards plantar fasciitis, which can be micro tears. You mentioned, the foot, the fascia between the heel over the arch of your foot, and you can develop micro tears. So, looking at the essential oils, I've been, so the oils that I presently have is copaiba and the deep blue. So I made a roller with the copaiba and the deep blue. Now, when I put my order in for this coming month, I will add the lemongrass because I've looked those up. And as you said, going through the book. So what I did was I sat down and the Essential Life book. And yes, on when you first start out, it tells you what oils you can use for plantar fasciitis and the copaiba, lemongrass, the aroma touch, wintergreen or birch, and this Siberian fir. So then I further looked at each of the oils to see what each oil would do.
Brilliant.
Um, so just so I had a better understanding. And I'm really impressed with lemongrass, and I didn't realize how effective lemongrass is.
It's
Um,
an amazing oil. I'm so glad that you mentioned that because, and I don't want to disturb your flow, but for people who don't know, lemongrass is one of our most reasonable oils, and yet it's one that is incredibly versatile and powerful. And the other thing with Teresa looking up oils, one of the oils that are recommended, actually it's two there, is either wintergreen or birch. So in diving in and looking at those oils and what they do, then Teresa can decide which one is more appropriate for her particular root causes. So take it away again, T.
okay. Well, the lemongrass, as I was saying, I was just so impressed with that. But when I looked it up in the book, it said it helps to support healing of any connective tissue. Now, I just made notes based on what lemongrass does do more than just this, but it helps to heal connective tissue, and it's also an anti-inflammatory. And a lot of these are anti-inflammatories, which is what I need right now. But the aroma touch helps to release smooth muscle and it enhances blood flow. So if you get the blood flow, then that's going to help to heal those micro tears if there are micro tears there. And then the wintergreen, I will probably go with the wintergreen. It helps to relieve and resolve inflammation again. Um, and it also supports injury recovery.
Love
So
it.
and yes, and it's an anti-inflammatory again. And the Siberian fir is used for pain, inflammation, and anti-inflammatory. So that is my goal is to order the oils that I don't have. I'll continue to use what I do have. It does help. And I've, taken some other precautions, wearing tennis shoes in the house so that I'm not barefoot, as I was doing before. And so it does seem to be helping.
So I love what you said about you made, and I take it you made a roller
Yes, I made a
with the
roller.
oils that you have, which were copaiba and deep blue.
Yes.
And so done is better than perfect. Okay. And there is no perfect in oils, but you put in the two oils that you have, you're using that. And how often are you applying it?
Um, my goal is to do it 3 times a day. Um, I do it at least 2 times a day.
Awesome. Yeah.
So yes.
And
I
then
mean,
as
the
you
more,
get the other oils, you can add those in,
exactly, I'm just
you
going to
know,
add them to what I have and continue to use. I've already, actually, my roller, because I label it, and
right.
I already have everything listed on it.
Well, and
Um,
just because the five oils are listed here in this book, there could be other oils listed in a different book, okay? And it doesn't mean we have to use them all. We can look like Teresa did at those oils, and is that oil addressing the root cause or one of the causes of my pain. And everybody's going to be different, okay? Um, Sometimes when you go to the reference sections, this one is skeletal and then muscular, there'll be a specific protocol for that issue, okay? And was there one in the book this time, Teresa? I don't recall.
No.
Okay,
The only specific listing I found was the oils.
okay, okay. Um, and I think that so there is one for bone spurs in this,
Yes.
and obviously joint pain, inflammation, broken bones, things like that. I'm in the section on skeletal, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so and when you're using it, if I can just mention that you're already doing the things, meaning you're supporting your body with good nutrition and the supplements like the VMG and the E omegas and probiotics, all things that are going to help your body to heal.
Right.
Okay. And and so I think that's awesome. What else have you discovered along the way?
Um, I'm beginning to learn how to use the book, the Essential
Awesome.
Lives book, because when I got it, you just flip through it, you read it, but until you actually need it for something, and I've looked at some oils, but I'm getting used to the layout of the book.
Love it.
And I mean, yes, it has an index, um, but it does, there are protocols, like you said, and for specific ailments, but then some of them, might be, s- you might have to go to something that's similar, like bone spurs or bone pain, or, is it bone? Is it muscular? So,
Well, and I think hitting like you are focusing on the connective tissue,
mhm,
which the lemongrass is the king of, okay?
yes,
Um, and and you may find that you need to address more of the bone issue later, but maybe
right,
not,
right.
you know. So, Lynn, do you want to chime in here?
You were reading my mind. The one thing that I liked that Teresa looked for, she looked for an oil for circulation because the foot isn't as fleshy or fatty as some of the rest of our body. So the circulation is a little bit different. So blood circulation is important. And as we heard before, lymphatics for the body to draw away the impurities that we want the body to get rid of when it's tackling and fighting this is important too. And then the other question I just had in my mind, as Teresa's doing her journey and then she's looking and she's finding more oils, do you keep notes to see like how long I've been using this for? And gee, I added these oils in and now I'm feeling differently. And what time frame was that? Because that's like your personal journey. It's like a personal log. Do you ever do
Right.
that?
That's a very good idea. So what I did today was I did make notes of the oils, what oils I'm using.
Mhm.
And but I didn't add dates. So that is a very good idea.
It
And
might be
it's interesting
interesting for
because
you.
if
Go ahead.
we think about the old way, the traditional way of medicine, and Teresa, correct me if I'm wrong, you might be given a pharmaceutical, and the practitioner, doctor, whatever it is, says, Teresa, I want you to take this for 30 days and let's see how it goes, or 60
Mhm.
days or 90 days. So, in a sense, you're kind of doing what Lynn said then, is keeping
Mhm.
track. How is this
Mhm.
working for me?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
your own journal
yep.
just to see, because you might say, I've been applying this 2 or 3 times a day and I've done it for 2 weeks and now I've opened up. So now I'm going to add a couple more oils in. And you might say, for me, that was the trick. In a week, I'm noticing that it feels so much better. So my question to you would be, if you don't make notes, how will you know what tipped the balance? Because when we
Right.
read the book, our bodies don't say Teresa, Rainey, and Lynn are all going to respond the same way to something. And
Brilliant.
so that will teach you more, as we just heard with a lady in the previous presentation, Rainey and I had joined, who had done one thing that was different. And all of a sudden, in a month, she saw her body respond. So she knows what it is that she used.
Right.
Right. Right.
And I
I
think
love that.
adding and being cautious about how many things we add. Now I'm going to add the other oils because that's the protocol. Um, and then from that point, if I make changes, it would probably be like one oil at a time, whether
Mm-hmm.
I add it or subtract it, so that I can see, okay, did that help? Did it not help? Did it make a
Mm-hmm.
difference? But
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
if I can
keeping,
interject, Teresa, what I
uh-huh,
would say is that the oils listed in the quick reference, which are the five
yes,
oils that you're talking about,
yes,
those are just suggestions. You've got two big guns in there already.
yes,
Frankincense, deep blue and copaiba. I
yes.
would add the other ones one at a time
Oh, okay.
and see, for example, like with the aroma touch, is that helping with, how I'm feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Or the lemongrass. The
Mm-hmm.
lemongrass is the one that I would add next,
Yes,
hands down. And you could add that maybe with the aroma touch, because like Lynn said, and you said, that circulation is so important. And maybe
yes,
wait on the Siberian fir. Because if you look, you're getting some of those qualities also in the oils you're already putting in, the deep blue and
yes,
stuff. So
exactly.
schmy around with that. It's interesting because my one of the first pain roller that I mixed up, created, whatever, and I still love it, is copaiba, marjoram, lemongrass, peppermint, and black pepper. For many of the same reasons. We're dealing with, it, and this specifically was addressing tendons, ligaments, and muscle pain. Okay. So, but you've got those oils in there for circulation, for tendons, and ligaments, connective tissues. Deb's go to her, our wonderful Deb Rose, who's in our group. Her all-purpose pain roller is wintergreen, frankincense, deep blue. So if we're talking about pain other than Teresa's dealing with now, maybe some of these others will touch on what's good. And if you look in Essential Life book under pain, just simply pain, turmeric or copaiba, peppermint, deep blue or rescuer, and rescuer is the kids collection one, helichrysum, and then either wintergreen or birch. So again, what's the root cause of your particular pain you want to deal with? Maybe something like frankincense, peppermint, and lavender will take care of it. Okay. Because many of us started with the top 10 kits and you have those. So, like Teresa
Right.
says, you have them in your home. Let's give it a try. Um, and that I'll post things like for neuropathy and stuff, but um, you know, I mean, there's just so many things that could be going on that's causing pain. And even with your issue, it could be bone, it could
Mhm.
be the connective tissue, it could be the micro tears. You're not sure yet.
Right.
But the body will be supported to heal itself, and that's what you really want.
Right.
I
Cool.
also want to commend Teresa because she also is saying, oh, I've gone the step of making sure I'm not walking barefooted to give my foot support
Yeah,
to see if that helps. So it's more than just the oils, and it's being intuitive and how do you help your body.
right, right, right. One thing that I think is important is, you know, pain comes in a lot of different forms. Okay,
Mhm.
so and for a lot of different causes. So when we're getting to the root of it, then we have a better chance to address and help the body support it rather than just chasing symptoms.
Right.
You know, chasing symptoms seems to be what our medical profession does a lot, you know.
Yeah, and far too much. And the other thing is common sense. When you have something that's not functioning correctly in your body and you're using a remedy such as this, I have found it's always good to increase your uptake of water because your body has toxins that it's trying to get rid of. And to help it, especially in this area when there's not a lot of circulation, to just add that water in to help it flush while you're doing that
Great,
is always
yeah,
a good thing because most people aren't hydrating and we're in a very hot point right now. So help your body by diluting that.
right,
That's a good point. Yes.
right, right. You know, a lot of times you can hit yourself or bump something or fall and you get a bruise. Okay. So there's a few things going on there. One is the bruise,
Mhm.
exhibit A, all right? But another is the pain that goes with it. Okay. So again, looking at the oils that the Essential Life book says for bruising, helichrysum, deep blue, wintergreen or birch again. There we go with that couple. Geranium, which is interesting, and Siberian fir. So we're seeing some repeat stuff, but we're seeing some different stuff. So looking at the oils to see what they address. How did you get that bruise? You know, and all that. Another thing I want to just throw out there, many of us have the frankincense stick, okay? This is great for bruises, all right? And it's great for cellular support, which is important for the healing. So this stick is wonderful for anti-aging, okay? But it belongs in the first aid kit too, okay?
Yeah, but wait, it does more.
But wait, there's more. Exactly. So let's think about oils that come to mind for pain, okay? Um, I'll start, and then I want you guys to think about what comes to your mind. So one thing that pops in my mind for pain is turmeric. So we have the oil and then we have the dual chamber. So for those who don't know, the dual chamber, should have brought it out. It's really cool looking. Has the botanical and the oil together. Okay. So um I
But
think that it's really, really good. So many people I know, Tom, for example, uses and takes the dual chamber every day to support his body and his joints and his inflammation. Okay, so turmeric, I take the oil in my oil shot, I give it to the dogs. He does the dual chamber cap. All right. Think about another oil. What comes to your mind, even if we've talked about it before for pain?
I've always used peppermint. That was my
Bingo.
first introduction to oils, muscular, because it soothes. And we're talking two separate things here. You're saying pain, but yet turmeric and peppermint deal with inflammation. Those are
Bingo.
two different conditions,
Yep.
but they usually go hand in hand. The pain can come because there's inflammation in the area. That's why the turmeric's a heavy hitter. That's why peppermint, wintergreen. My grandmother always smelled a Bengay. The base of that was wintergreen.
Wintergreen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
we have to have an appreciation also for what's causing it. And then we have to look at what does it initiate in our body. So pain is
Right.
caused by something, that's the result, but it has inflammation in
Right.
there. So we're looking at those two when we're really looking for oils.
I love that. Great point. And
Right. And the
when I think
wintergreen,
of peppermint, oh, go ahead, T.
I was going to say, and the wintergreen is anti-inflammatory.
That's exactly it. because that's
Yes.
what we're trying to tackle. And
Right.
then when you talked about it, you have a multifaceted approach here. You have pain, you have inflammation. You've talked about blood, the circulation in your system. That's the lymphatics. So we have to
Mm-hmm.
look at all the different processes that are going on in our body because it's not just one, we're all connected. And so that's what doTERRA is doing when it gives you the choice of these oils. It's looking at all those different symptoms, if you will, that will happen and putting each of those oils in addresses all of those. So we
Right.
have our heavy hitters here.
I love that. I love that. You know, peppermint, which is in our top 10 kit, okay, which many
Mhm,
people start with. Lynn, I love that you said that you started with peppermint, okay, when you
mhm,
think about pain and stuff. And when I think of peppermint, I think of peppermint for pain, headaches, muscle pain, anything. But peppermint is a pusher. So
mhm.
let's say you're using another oil to help with inflammation or circulation or whatever it might be. Layering peppermint on top of it will push it in deeper. Um, and that's something good to remember. Cool. All right, another oil. What do you think of when you think of pain?
So I'm looking over my list here, and I was surprised at the aroma touch.
Tell
You
me
know,
why.
well, I wasn't that familiar with aroma touch, so I had to look it up, but it relaxes and smooths the muscle.
Yes.
So, and when we injure ourselves, those muscles tighten up.
Brilliant.
So, yes,
So you're helping
And
but
the body in that
yep.
process.
yes,
And do
Yep.
you
exactly.
know, because many people in our group have pets and animals, okay? Deep blue, hey, use it on a horse. Great for a horse. Not on a dog. Too much. Aroma touch on a dog,
Mhm.
diluted. Even for arthritic pain, hip pain, whatever it might be, joint pain as they age. So, yeah, aroma touch is a really multifaceted oil, isn't it?
Yes.
Mhm.
So if we look it up in the book, and I
Page
love this book.
129.
By the way, after convention, they'll come up with a new version, but we're on the 10th edition now of our Essential Life book. So Aroma Touch has cypress, peppermint, marjoram, basil, grapefruit, and lavender in it.
It's got a lot.
Okay, that's got a lot.
Yeah.
And it's the our massage blend, but it's also the name of one of our protocols where you're applying oils, including Aroma Touch, on the spine and back. Okay, so m muscle tension, aches and cramps, headache, neck and back pain, arthritis, neuropathy and restless leg. Here we go. Connective tissue, ligament, and tendon issues. Lymphatic congestion. Lynn, you mentioned that.
Mhm.
High blood pressure, poor circulation. There you go, Teresa. And cold extremities. All right. Doesn't mean that you have to have poor circulation to use it. It means that it will help with your
Mhm.
circulation,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I love this blend. And like Teresa says, this blend relaxes and soothes muscles, enhances blood flow, and encourages muscle tissue healing. So, yeah, really good addition. What else are you guys thinking?
I always get stuck because my two are deep blue and copaiba. I
Yes.
I
Yeah,
go for that, and for anybody who's new or might watch this after, we have the oils, we have the deep blue, uh, what do you call
capsules.
it, stick.
Yep.
Uh, but we also have to remember that there's topical and there's ingestion. I'm going to go back to peppermint because that's a multi-purpose. Because yeah, it's great for inflammation, but it also helps if you ingest it and it calms your stomach. So we need to also remember that we may be looking at approaches that are topical. As one lady had said, she put a little dot and went across her forehead on something, and that worked. But we can also do ingestion.
Well,
So
and think
that's
of it this way also. There's oils that we take and put on our thumb
Mhm,
and press to the roof of our mouth. Many people, when they get a headache, do that with frankincense or lavender.
mhm,
Every morning I do it with Melissa. I have for years. I mean, Melissa is one of my favorite oils, period. But when you have pain, you want to address it. Supporting your body with good nutrition and supplements, our foundational wellness we love, but
mhm,
also applying like to the bruise, applying it to the area of concern. And then I like to take things internally to support our body to heal.
mhm,
So brilliant, Lynn. Um,
mhm,
can't get it in the roller, I don't think anymore. Maybe it still comes in a roller. Past tense,
mhm.
maybe it still does. I love this for muscles, for headaches, for bruises, anything like that. Have you guys tried that?
No, I haven't.
All
No.
right, it is. I had not tried it. I owned it. I have to admit, didn't use it. Okay. It's our tension blend. So let's think about what's in here. Wintergreen, lavender, peppermint, frankincense, cilantro, marjoram, Roman chamomile, basil, and rosemary. So big hitter for headaches and migraines, muscle aches, swelling, cramping, but it's also great for bruises, burns, tension, neck and I get that. Who get else gets that T-zone tightness? The shoulder and then the neck. Perfect for there. If you have
Mhm.
restless sleep. This is one when we travel, this is like a Swiss Army knife.
Oh.
Okay. So I love it. It comes in a stick now too, which is great, convenient. But that's one of the ones that I think of when I think of pain. I think of our family of Deep Blue, okay, right?
Mhm.
But I also think of past tense. Really, really good. And it's pure oil. It's not, see, there's no little thingy dude here saying touch. So this is pure oil. And when I use it, I literally just put a little dot or two on my finger. And then if I have a headache here, or maybe I'll do a swipe and then rub it on the back of my neck. I don't just wholesale apply it on. Other people may, okay? But I think a little bit goes a long way with that one. Another oil I wanted to talk to you all about is guaiac wood. I use this every night. Okay. So look, if you look in the book, guaiac wood is it is a very, very thick oil. So it is pre-diluted in here. Okay. And if you look in the book, this is what guaiac wood looks like when you cut it. So it's one of the hardest woods. One piece of guaiac wood will burn all night long in your fire. And it's great for a bunch of other things, but also headaches, exhaustion, nerve pain, muscle cramps, spasms. So, joint and tendon pain, inflammation. So it's one that I love to rub on the bottom of my feet and my ankles every night as part of my pre-sleep. Any other thoughts on pain beside in the butt? Pain in the butt. I think this was good. I think this is good. It's just good to know, okay, I have this issue. How can we figure out how to address it? Just like when I practice law, someone comes in with a case, and depending on the fact pattern, you're looking up the different case law. First, you go to the statute, read the law on it, then you go to the case law. So what we're doing is the same thing. We're still playing that game of Clue, where we're looking at, well, who else is in the room here? What do we have going on? Um, what do we need to address? Um, and and these reference books are so great for that. Um,
I like this approach because for maybe new people that are coming in, yeah, just to understand how we're looking at a problem, how we're breaking it down, and then how do we find our resources and how do we use the book. And in age groups, I'm finding over 50, there's quite a lot of different types of pain that might come from different sources, from plantar fasciitis to rheumatoid arthritis or anything. And I think a lot of people could learn by listening to the thought pattern of us playing this game of Clue and how do we start and where are we going with it. So,
right, right.
yeah,
Brilliant.
exciting.
Yeah. Well, Teresa, thank you for sharing your pain
You're welcome.
and your approach. Um, I mean, I think it's brilliant, and especially someone coming, well, as both of you coming from the medical profession, I think that that really adds a lot to your analysis of what's going on to get to the root of it, and very, very helpful. So cool.
Yeah, and Teresa, please update us when you start adding those oils. Let us know
Yeah,
what you're feeling with that so we can follow
Ab-
that journey with you.
Absolutely,
brilliant.
will
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
yeah, excellent, excellent. So no live next week. We'll be on the road, but for people who are in our private group, post your questions there, and we can all crowdsource it and basically think about it together. No one right answer, nothing's perfect.
Mhm.
But let's just see what we can come up with for stuff to help people. Brilliant.
Very
All
good.
right. La
Wonderful.
last little nugget. Lemongrass. We learned on the earlier Zoom that 2 or 3 drops of lemongrass each day internally will help you so the mosquitoes and insects do not want to bite you.
And
There
that's
you
big at
go.
this time of year.
Big at this
Yes.
time of year.
Now, because
Yes.
like me.
Yeah. Yeah. So lemongrass internally. All
Amazing.
right. Thank you guys. Have a great day. I'll get this posted.
Perfect.
Thanks.
All
See you
right.
later.
Thank you. Take good care.
Bye.